Hi, my name is Lisa Wilson. I am a health coach. I also am the founder of the Raw Food Institute. We have been going for 10 years strong. And I'm also a Blue Diamond leader in doTERRA. And 10 years ago when I started the Raw Food Institute, I started bringing in essential oils as part of curriculum to the Raw Food Institute. It was advanced plant techniques. And we really looked at the science. I fell madly in love with the science behind essential oils. And then when I started using them with my clients, myself, my family, the results were beyond anything I could ever have imagined. And they have been for many, many years. When I have a health challenge or something come up in my family, who are my go-to people? It is my health coaching friends. And so when I did launch a doTERRA business, I noticed something real quickly. A lot of people that are successful in doTERRA, at least in my organization, I can't make this as a blanket statement, but above me in my organization were IIN health coaches. And when I sat back and I took a look at who is successful in my organization, again, it brought me back to IIN health coaches. We are entrepreneurial. We are people super passionate about natural health. And we like people, we like helping people, we are heart-based entrepreneurs, we like public speaking. And so these are a lot of qualities that are also make somebody very successful at doTERRA. When I decided about 3 years ago to bring doTERRA into my life in a much bigger way, I again surrounded myself with some of the top people that I knew, people who are already successful in the health coaching business. So last night, I gathered a few of my closest friends, and I want to introduce them to you. It is this webinar that we did. We did it live last night, and you get to see who I surround myself with, who my go-to people are in my life. And again, I can't say that it's all of them. There are some amazing other people on my team, some naturopathic physicians. And you don't have to have letters behind your name or be a doctor, of course, to do essential oils. A stay-at-home mom that comes with passion about taking care of her family is an amazing place to be as well. So I was actually getting ready for this video. I was going to put on a cute little dress, and I thought, no, you know what? I'm going on in my yoga pants because this is what my life is like. My life has turned into something that it's a dream. I love my family. I love the experiences that doTERRA has allowed me to have. I love the people that I get to have super high level conversations with, and I love the life I'm able to live. So take a look at this. I want to introduce you to some of my favorite people on earth. I hope that you enjoy this as much as we all enjoyed being together last night. It's Lisa Wilson. We are live. I am currently in Simsbury, Connecticut. And tonight I am doing what might be one of my all-time favorite calls. So, we're talking first of all to health coaches. So we're health coaches surrounded by health coaches. And when you're a health coach, who are some of your best friends? Who do you call when something goes wrong in the body? You call your health coaching friends. And so I'm so excited to be on this call because these people are my inner circle. These are the people that I call when I have health coaching questions. These are my go-to people. These are people that some people like Eve and Tracy and I went to IIN together back in the day when it was live in New York City in 2006 and 7. So we were literally friends and roomies back in the day. And I started to I started my health coaching business. Eve and I, we both started National Integrated Health Associates back in 2007. We started there right away. And then I launched the Raw Food Institute in about 2008. And then I used to bring a doctor in to talk about essential oils. And we really talked a lot about the science back then about essential oils. And I didn't know a whole ton about essential oils. I knew honestly, I thought they smelled pretty. I thought they were good for massage. I really didn't have a great understanding. But when she brought the science in, and I know Christy and some of you I'm looking at, we are science geeks. We love the science part of this. So I started getting more into advanced techniques, specifically with essential oils. Now, for those of you who know me, there's always, kombucha bubbling, there's things sprouting. I have far infrared technology in my house. I have vibration plates.
I have, chi machines. I have mood lamps. I mean, my house is a home spa. That's how I live. And I always say, if you took all that away and only left me with one tool, it would be essential oils. So for those of you listening tonight, just so you know, when you sell essential oils, we're not allowed to use any diagnosable conditions. We're not allowed to say that. So when we start what sounds like we're speaking in code sometimes, when we start saying head tension or digestive issues, it's because we're just not allowed to use any diagnosable diseases in our sentences. So we have to talk about symptoms, we have to talk about root cause, and so those are kind of the things that we'll focus on as we talk about this. But as I look at almost everybody on the screen, I think almost all of us, I mean, I can speak for myself, I got into this, I had no, okay, who thought that you would be an essential oil wellness advocate, right? I don't think any of us ever sought out to do that. And I know Christy says it really well. She says at one point it becomes a moral obligation to share. So we start using them with ourselves, and we say, wow, that was an interesting coincidence, that I got better or that I feel different. And then it happens 2 or 3 times or 4 times. And you start to think maybe there's something to this. And when you start to look at the science behind essential oils, I really feel privileged that we have one of the most powerful tools on the planet. I really feel that way. And I know all of you feel that way too. So, when I talk to health coaches that maybe haven't tried essential oils yet, or they're hearing the buzz, that's what I really want to get after tonight. I want to talk about with each of you, what that might look like, what that did look like in your health coaching practices, some experience that you had either with yourselves. Eve, one of your specialties was gut health, and the gut-brain connection. So I want to talk about that. Some of you, Brianne, I know you started using these on your baby, and they work better than anything else had at the time. So I think these are super important topics to bring up and to talk about. So I'm going to be the moderator tonight, and I have devised a list of questions because I know everybody on this panel, and I had some interesting questions that I thought people would want to know about them. But everybody that you're looking at on this panel I will say this, they're super successful people, both in their first life, whatever that was before they started incorporating essential oils, and then their essential oil life. They're all gold and above, and I know that might mean nothing to you, but that is a highly accomplished rank. So I will, at the end, kind of throw up a little sheet so you can kind of see what the ranks mean, but I'm not going to really do that now. I just need you to know that these women are incredibly accomplished women. They've taken essential oils, and like me, I had no, Eve, did you have to bring me kicking and screaming out to Salt Lake City in 2015?
No kidding, I sure did.
It's like, you don't understand. I'm a busy mom. I have things to do. And she, I finally went after she urged me, and I cried for 4 days. And here's why. They brought the farmers on stage from around the world who we have, doTERRA has gone in as a company, lifted regions of the world out of poverty. The stories about the essential oils, the healing hands, again, what we're doing around the world. Like, I literally cried for 4 days. And I remember talking to Franny actually on the way out that day. I had intended to expand my business, to take it out to the West Coast and take the Raw Food Institute from LA to San Francisco. And I made a decision in that moment that I was going to change the trajectory of my entire life, and I was going to focus on essential oils. The Raw Food Institute will be here. It continues to go. And I can expand it in 10 years if I want to, but I realized that there was a very unique opportunity. And I wanted tonight to talk to health coaches about that unique opportunity. So Eve, I'm gonna start with you. Again, you and I went to IIN together. We met as students in 2006. We've been colleagues, honestly. We've lived these parallel lives ever since, interestingly enough. You were knee-deep in health coaching at National Integrative Health Associates, and your focus became the gut and brain connection. So there are a lot of directions that I could take this, but again, I want to kind of speak to health coaches. If you had access to the oils back then when you were doing health coaching with Food Alone, and you know how we can shift people with food, what might that have changed your business, the way your business looked? And I don't mean your business, the health of your clients, I should say. And what are you incorporating now when you're talking to people about gut and brain health?
Yeah, so And thanks for letting me go first. I think it's really interesting because, over a decade ago, you really didn't hear a whole lot about, again, the wellness of the gut and the connection between the gut and the brain. Anybody that was really delving into that field was, kind of pioneering it at that point. And it was fascinating to see, what was happening then and what's happening now. But back then, it's like working with functional medicine doctors and naturopathic doctors. A lot of people were recognizing, okay, the microbiome, this is hugely important. And if we can, kind of break it down to the most simple explanation, when you're looking at the gut microbiome, you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria. So there's good guys and bad guys. And everybody was starting to recognize, okay, great, we can bring in probiotics, we can eat probiotic rich foods, we can bring in things to, help with the wellness and bringing in the good guys, but what do we do about some of the bad guys? So it's fascinating to see what, again, functional medicine doctors were doing at that point, because a lot didn't really have any adequate tools. So they're throwing all kinds of herbs and, just kind of like seeing like what's going to stick, and it's fascinating to me now because I'm looking at some of the top nutraceutical companies that are scrambling to put together essential oil-based supplements to, again, help with the wellness of the microbiome, to really go in there and support, again, a healthy neighborhood. So it's fascinating to me to think like, wow, as you just said, what could we have done 10 years ago if we had been introduced to essential oils then? And as soon as I did get introduced to doTERRA and recognize that we have these fantastic essential oil-based supplements that we can use to really support a healthy microbiome, it changed everything. It was like having actual resources just, at my fingertips at that point. So literally with every client that I started working with, first naturally with myself and then, with my friends and family and, colleagues, and then introducing them to my clients. And then of course, introducing them to the medical center that you and I have both been, loosely partnered with for the last decade, and seeing them incorporate the oils with their patients there. It's just been fascinating because, again, we really have something at our fingertips now that, again, just makes it easy and accessible. So on the flip side, looking at the gut and then looking at the brain, essential oils are never, ever, ever going to replace nutrients, as they're not meant to. They're not vitamins. They're not minerals. They're not essential fatty acids. So again, they work in conjunction, but they're doing things and working in with different mechanisms than nutrients will. So just as a quick example, if you give someone 5-HTP, which is, again, a part of the serotonin pathway, and you're looking to, again, boost their serotonin naturally, it's a great supplement. A lot of the doctors will give it there. But the moment you give it to somebody that's actually deficient in this, they can start to get a queasy tummy. They just don't feel so great. So I just had a friend visiting recently who went through a tremendous amount of stress. And I said, I think you're a little deficient. Let me give you this. So a few minutes later, he started feeling queasy. And I immediately reached over and grabbed ginger and digestin and fennel. And I was like, okay, let's hit this. I'm going to make you feel better in like just minutes here. And again, it just took away that queasiness like instantly. But on top of it, I pulled out my wild orange and my frankincense, because I know that if there's been any kind of damage done to the serotonin receptors, those particular oils can absolutely be supportive in helping to repair and restore any kind of damaged receptor sites. So again, it's amazing how they work in conjunction with natural medicine, and the fact that we as health coaches have access to this. I had training, with functional medicine doctors for years, which is how I know how to do a lot of the other things that I do in my health coaching practice. However, like I said, with any of us having access to essential oils without having to go through, a $10,000 functional medicine training program, it's just amazing to have these tools. And like I said, the knowledge to be able to use them. So hope that's helpful.
And actually, after I wrote your questions, I thought of a question that I'd like to spring on you, because I know you can handle it on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because you and I worked for a million. How many pitches, vitamin pitches, did we listen to on Tuesday morning doctor meetings at National Integrated Health Associates? About 1.5 million. Okay. So when we hear a bad one, like we're like, oh, we can call it like that because we know what to look for, right? We know you don't want something synthetically concocted in laboratory. You want whole food-based. You want a vitamin and mineral balance. You want omega-3 fatty acids, of course. You want antioxidants. So we have something called Lifelong Vitality, which I think is one of the greatest gifts that we have. I call it the highest quality functional medicine vitamin that you can buy without a prescription. And when I was moving through my health challenges, thyroid challenges specifically, and the things I was bringing in, and I actually grabbed them here, like I was adding these things to my water, ashwagandha, astragalus. I'm actually still drinking this in my water today. And so I thought, yeah, impress me. And I flipped it over, and they are in, we've got that in our LLV. We've got ashwagandha, astragalus, alpha lipoic acid. And I love to talk about that because alpha lipoic acid has the ability to regenerate tissues, and it's what natural bodybuilders use. And, so you are a massive fan also of Lifelong Vitality. And as health coaches, how could health coaches use Lifelong Vitality as a baseline for a lot of their clients?
Yeah. So I love to tell people this because it's so critical. I found the oils, and I had been using oils since like 2005. So I was introduced to doTERRA by Dana in 2013, and I immediately knew that the oils were different. I just was blown away by the quality. However, when, Dana and Franny were talking to me like, my gosh, you should really, I was like, these are fantastic. I'm definitely going to incorporate it into my health coaching practice. And they said, just take a look at the business for a minute. And no, I don't do that MLM stuff. I'm going to tell my clients about, the oils, but that's all I'm really interested in doing. I said, just hear me out. Well, again, in listening to them, I said, okay, great, I'll consider this. However, it was when I started taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack that everything flipped for me. I had some serious issues prior to this. I'd been in a car accident, and for me personally, I just noticed right off the bat, I was sleeping better at night. I was waking up feeling more well-rested. My mood would shift. Like I just suddenly felt better. I felt more positive. My outlook had really changed. Aches, pains, sore muscles, just felt really, really supported in terms of my overall well-being in that regard. But I think even more importantly, I had been having issues, as a new mom, and, you always can use some extra energy. And I think with the Lifelong Vitality Pack, again, because there's components in it that help with cellular vitality. As soon as your cells are making more energy, you yourself have more energy. So again, just overall, it's something that I immediately started giving to my health coaching clients. And within 30 days, you start to see a shift. So oftentimes if somebody's diet has been really poor for a long time, they're so completely deficient. So being able to give them that shot in the arm so they immediately start to feel better, it's totally game-changing, totally game-changing. Real quick comment in there that kind of skipped over this. The easiest way to create a shift in any of your clients instantly is through inhalation. Basically oils, as you inhale them, passing through the olfactory bulb, hitting the limbic system, and immediately creating a shift within our moods. So again, can't even believe I forgot to mention this. It's one of the fastest ways that you can create that shift. But fast forward, as you just mentioned, talking about our foundational nutritional supplement. As you mentioned, I really think it's just the best description that I've ever heard. It's the highest quality functional medicine nutritional supplement that you can get on the market without a prescription. It really is phenomenal in terms of what we have. So in terms of creating an immediate shift with your health coaching clients, yes, bringing in oils, yes, absolutely, addressing some of the immediate needs that they have in that regard. But with the Lifelong Vitality Pack, it is just phenomenal in terms of creating a really quick shift within somebody's overall well-being.
I know one person that's on tonight is Carmen. Remember you guys remember Carmen from IIN?
Oh, yay.
Peru. Yeah, she messaged me and asked me some inflammation issues before we got on, and I said that's what prompted me to talk about LLV. And also,
hi Carmen.
All right, I'm going to move to Christy now. Christy, you and I met when you came through RFI, the Raw Food Institute, about, I was trying to think about, I think it was 8 or 10 years ago. That long ago?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And we immediately became fast friends. And you became one of those friends, and a lot of you on this call are, that just became like my sounding board, and for each other, you know. And I know, Christy, you had your own health challenges that you had to move through when you had mold in your house, and you know that got you really sick. Do you want to talk about a couple things, how you started using this in your health coaching practice, essential oils? Actually, I was really thinking about this. Most people on this call, and you're already way into your health coaching, most people on this call really got into it by starting to use the oils, but you were looking for a business opportunity. And you'd been approached with some other network marketing, and you're like, nope, not pure enough, too many chemicals, too much junk. And you were looking for something that would completely line up with your integrity. So I know I just like threw a lot of questions at you. So do you want to start with how you use them in your coaching practice and in yourself, and then your kids, and then talk a little bit about that too?
Sure. You're correct. I had been in health coaching for a few years, and I had a pretty thriving practice. But when I'd get pregnant and I'd be sick or have a newborn, I struggled with my pregnancies. I kept having to refer out a lot of my clients because I couldn't handle a heavy client load. And so I also at the same time started to notice that a lot of the top health coaches that I was following and sort of modeled my business model, my practice, my business strategy after, as I was on their list and engaging more in their businesses, I started to realize that the true revenue stream that was making their practice money, they were in some sort of a network marketing company. And so that was very eye-opening to me because I really thought that they were successful financially from health coaching. And I was experiencing health coaching as a labor of love. I loved it, but it was very much tied to however many hours I was on the phone or sitting in that seat talking to them one-on-one. And so there definitely was not, I only felt comfortable charging so much at an hourly rate or per practice. And even when my practice got to the point of a couple thousands of dollars for a few months of coaching, and, you know, I get very good and you kind of tweak and hone your skills. It still felt, I found that the people who were really, really successful in this business had another revenue stream that was truly their primary revenue stream that fed the majority of their business. And so I began to be more open to network marketing, but I think like a lot of people, it had to be very much in alignment with where I was at in my personal life and what I would put on my kids or what I would feed my own body. And I was probably stricter than most. And so I felt like I didn't find the right product out there. I was approached by a top, she's now in the top of a very popular skincare company, and she wanted to partner with me right out of the gate. But I could not, in integrity, align myself with that product because it wasn't something that I could use. It was just loaded with chemicals that there's no way I could go to my people or my family and say, I think you guys should try this. And so I said no, I declined, even though from a business standpoint, it would have been a really good decision. And it really, so I was kind of stuck, right? Because I'm seeing how this is how the really successful people in this industry, what they're bringing in, but yet what was available at the time that I was aware of wasn't something that I could personally get behind. And then I got pregnant again, a little surprise pregnancy. and so I got sick. And so I had to refer out all my clients. And interestingly enough, right before that had started, I had found doTERRA. And it was you and Eve that had approached me, and we had been working at this medical practice on the East Coast that was incorporating them into and prescribing them firsthand, recommending them to their patients as an at-home option for them to support their health goals. And so for me, I was very curious. I was very open to that because I had a tremendous amount of respect. Even though I'd been approached about oils before, I think I probably wouldn't have been as open had it not come from such a credible source. Who, the two of you, whom I trusted extremely, you were some of my closest friends. And when I had personal health issues, definitely the people that I would reach out to and trust their guidance and counsel. So for me, that's really where I started to use them, and I was looking for a business opportunity, and I was open. I wouldn't say that I don't know that I was actively out there looking, but I was definitely open, whereas I hadn't been in the past to network marketing specifically. I think in the past I probably would have had a lot more resistance to it, but the timing worked out where I was more open in my mindset about that. And so when you and Eve approached me, I was kind of one of those early adopters that came in and said, I want this as a business. I want to see how this works. I want to, of course, the oils have to line up with, my personal health goals and meet my standards in that sense. But I definitely wanted to know more about the business right away. And I find that to be pretty rare. I think most people naturally are curious, and they want to try the oils. They want to kind of dip their toe in. Even with the business, they start out kind of wanting to just explore a little bit. But the truth is, there were such credible sources coming in for me that I felt right away that I knew this was something smart and that I wanted to partner with. And I started using them on my own family. I found tremendous results because they are so impactful immediately. And in my practice, when I started introducing them in my practice, I found that, there's always so food definitely shifts the body, and food can certainly move people towards their goals and make them feel better. And they see some immediate change, but the real deeper chronic, more challenging stuff, it takes time, right? It takes time for them to experience those shifts. And I felt like when my clients or patients would experience a challenge that maybe set them back, like they catch, whatever, they catch something and it sets them back along their journey, along their path to wellness. Having the oils gave me that bridge so that they didn't go to something that might set them even further back in their goals for moving forward with their health, right? And so having the oils became very effective, very impactful right away. So getting a setback didn't necessarily mean undoing all of what they had tried to accomplish with their changes in food. So my patients experienced a lot of results a lot faster because I used them, because we need tools. We need natural tools in our tool belt. And so when I incorporated that into my practice, it really, I got a lot of results a lot faster. So I was very grateful for that. And definitely in my personal life and with my kids. I have 3 small kids, and I just can't imagine where our household would be had we not had oils. So.
And even, with your kid, how old are your kids right now?
Well, I've been in doTERRA for a few years now, 3 years, I think. So now I have a almost 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
Okay. And I think, we always talk about this. We live in a super immunity bubble. I mean, I kind of call it that because we are protected when we go to the grocery store, when we pump our gas. We have the ability to get after things. I call it funky juju. Get after things. And so I just feel confident. I feel confident riding on an airplane. I feel confident when I'm, the ski club chaperone. And I know the same is true for you. And,
Yeah, oh, sure. I mean, a sniffly neighbor comes over and I'm like, open up, here's some On Guard. Or let me put it in the diffuser. Because we can't go down, right? We all have, as busy moms, busy households, we have a lot going on. And I'm not going to go down because the neighbor next door doesn't have oils, but I'm okay. I know we're protected. We're good. So yeah, it's a life changer. I mean, when my kids, are struggling with something, it's a day or two. It's no longer like we pass it around for a week. And that is life changing when you're a mom with a busy schedule and a full house. So yeah.
All right. Next, thank you, Christy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Next, I want to go to Tracy. So Tracy, again, you and I went to IAN together in 2006. We were roommates and fast friends. I have watched you launch a lot of businesses because you moved. So you launched a health coaching business a couple times. You and I, when we first got out of IAN, we were doing cooking classes together. And we had little kids at the time. Mine were 2, 4, and 6. And Mackenzie must have been, a baby. And we were doing classes for families. Then you moved to New Hampshire, you relaunched your health coaching practice, and I've watched you become a published author, watched you run an online program called Dig In, I've watched you collaborate with local farmers and chefs. So you're just highly, highly accomplished, which is the kind of people clearly that I like to surround myself with. So when I was looking to expand my doTERRA business, I taught a class up in New Hampshire a few years ago. It wasn't the right time for you. And I think sort of like Christy, you kind of were resistant to network marketing. I think we all were. It's nothing unique to any of us. We all, had that resistance. But what cracked me up is recently I was in New Hampshire and we had movie night, and we did all this fun oil stuff with your team. And you said this, and I quote you, "I love network marketing." And so I've really watched you like move this, like swing the other way, because you love women, you love tribe, you love surrounding yourself with powerful people, you love meaningful conversations all over your house. And I've watched you really thrive in this. So can you tell me a little bit, if you had these oils, now that you know how potent and powerful they are, when you were doing your health coaching practices, when you were launching your IIN businesses, how would they have looked different if you had access to the oils when you were health coaching?
Well, it's funny because you had approached me, Lise, 3 years ago about this. And, in retrospect, I really wish that I had, even though I wasn't open to it at the time, that I had actually taken a look at the business model, because I honestly didn't really know how it worked. And I was like you, I was really didn't get the whole network marketing thing, and, was passionate about health coaching, and we started all these online programs and farm to table dinners and seminars and things like that. And I, in retrospect, really wish even 3 years ago that I had taken some time to look at the business model, because I really do love it. One of the things that, and as a health coach, you're really trying to get people to change their behavior, right? You're trying to week by week work with them to add healthy, change their habits, add healthy foods into their diet. And it can be a struggle for a lot of people. It's really, really hard to change your habits and kind of create that lifestyle. But the nice thing with the oils is that it's something that you can really add into your health coaching business, or add into your life, as I said, for my clients, that is just really simple. It's a go-to. It's very empowering. It's something that you can do when you have a stomach ache or a headache. And it's just something really powerful that they can add into their lives. And when I sat down to, assess whether or not I wanted to do network marketing and join doTERRA, because you approached me again 3 years later, and I had been running my business for like 3 or 4 years. We'd had a lot of people come through. We had, thousands of people come through the program, but I was still struggling financially. And I was getting really burned out because I had, was running my website. I had payroll. I had, just so much. And I was really, really feeling burnt out by that process. And so I sat down and I literally did a pros and cons. It was January, and I'm like, okay, and I'd never done this before, but I was very disciplined about it. I wrote down, I'm like, okay, the pros to network marketing and the cons to network marketing. And when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I love to teach. I love to talk to people about their health. I don't have to create my own website. I get to work with a great community of people, and I get to lead people, but I don't have payroll, right? So everyone still has to, be independent and autonomous, but yet you can kind of build that team without having that pressure of having payroll and all those kinds of things. So it made me really just rethink the whole business. And one of the biggest things for me was sales. I was scared to death of sales. I was like, didn't want to be a salesperson. But I also knew that was my biggest challenge, and that's exactly what I needed to work through. And I knew that if I could work through that and get more comfortable with that, and there's so much personal growth in this business, that was a really big thing for me.
Somebody's not muted. Maybe I think Cindy, can you guys mute yourself? I'm not sure who's got some background noise going on. Oh,
that might have been my family. Sorry. My husband's birthday. I don't want to tell him to be too quiet. So anyway, but that for me, it was just literally sitting down and looking at the model of this business and realize that it's exactly what I like to do. You know what I mean? If I took away the sales part, it's exactly what I like to do. I still get to work with people on their health. I still get to, go out and talk to people. And that's what's so great about going to, hosting a class or party, is that everyone loves to talk about their health, and everyone has issues. You know what it's like when you start a class and you say, is anyone stressed? Does anyone get headaches? And everyone's raising their hand over and over again. So it's a really great thing to add to your health coaching business. And it's a great thing as a business as well. So.
Thank you, Tracy. That was great. I think those were really, really, really good insights. I love your pros and cons list, because I say that all the time. Did you have to pay for warehouse space? Did you have to pay for, doing your website? Did you have to pay for? no, we just get to go do what we love. Just go educate people on essential oils. So I love that. Love that.
Lisa, really quickly, I just wanted to share, one thing I think that when you and I first started and we talked about this, and Tracy, I'd be curious to hear what you did to overcome the challenge with feeling salesy. But I know Lisa and I were beginning our journey. We were teaching a class to a couple hundred people in a church. And we heard the woman stand up and say, people, I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad we're sharing this. And I can't not talk about this business opportunity because people are as in much need of financial healing as they are physical healing. And I know for Lisa and I, that was a huge aha for us. And since then, we've been a lot more confident and a lot more forthcoming about this incredible healing financial opportunity that comes with sharing doTERRA. So Tracy, I know that's a common concern that a lot of people coming into network marketing have. They're afraid of feeling salesy. And so I would just really be interested to hear what you did or kind of your self-talk in working around that.
Well, I think it's interesting because I talk to so many health coaches and, we're so passionate, we want to help people heal, but we're all broke. So many people are, don't have that financial, they want to start wellness centers, but they don't have the money to do it. They want to be able to do cooking classes, but they're not making enough money at it. So, I just think it's really important that, it's okay to want a good revenue stream. It's okay to make money. It's okay to, we're selling something everywhere, whether we're selling a cooking class or we're selling health coaching. These are all valuable products. And, it's not necessarily, for health coaches, it's not something that it first comes to mind because it's always that passionate part. But everyone's got to make money. And I think, this is just a great heart-based way to do it. But it gets easier and easier and easier. And that's the beauty of this I just love it more and more because I get more comfortable talking, sharing, and if you want to call it selling. But as Lisa said, it's all sharing because we'd be sharing anyway. So.
That's true. Great point. All right, I'm going to move to Dana. Dana has one of the most loving hearts. And so that's why I really wanted to talk to Dana about this topic. There's a piece of doTERRA that I'm not sure anybody can comprehend unless they go to a live event, unless they go to convention or leadership. And I remember I shared with you my shift that happened there. But why it happened was because I sat in this room full of thousands and thousands of people who all are heart-based entrepreneurs, who all want to change the world, cried with all of them. And here's how I felt. I walked away feeling that doTERRA had a soul, that the company was something much bigger than all of us individually. So Dana, can you articulate that? Can you share some of your favorite pieces of doTERRA when we talk about the soul of doTERRA?
Yes. So thank you, Lisa, for presenting me with this question because it is one of my favorite parts of doTERRA and something also that was, for me, completely unexpected. I knew I was getting into a business with super powerful, incredible healing oils. And I knew that they would change and impact lives. And as a former public school teacher, I started out with my niche market as mothers and children. And I was just, again, kind of like you shared, Lisa, felt a moral obligation to, when I found out, to share with these mothers and with families as a way to treat their children without these crazy side effects that I was seeing so often as a school teacher. And it wasn't until I attended, thanks to Franny here for inviting me, it was not the convention, but the post-convention tour in Fort Myers, Florida. And Emily Wright, who is one of doTERRA's owners and one of my personal heroes that I look up to and admire so much, she's connected with the sourcing of the essential oils, and she was the presenter that day. And here I'm, all excited to take notes on all the benefits of the oils, and she starts speaking about these initiatives that are going on globally, just all over the world, impacting countless lives and just elevating these communities out of poverty, providing healthcare, providing education, which was so dear to my heart. That's what I studied in school, and that was my passion. And providing clean water, and bringing in these just these things that we take for granted every single day. And I just had chills, and I left there, like you said, Lisa, I was in tears and just so emotional about what I was becoming a part of and the impact. I mean, I still sometimes look at this one bottle of oil and it's like, oh my gosh, if you stop to think about how many lives have been impacted by this bottle of oil, of course the people using it and all the benefits they're getting in their family, but the farmers and the entire community. So for me, it's just been such a passion to share that with people, because it's really something so many people like myself just aren't aware of. And I believe it's really why doTERRA is growing and growing like crazy, 10 years into it and just spreading worldwide, is because of the heart of the company and the heart of the owners and the heart of the people that are attracted to the business and just what it's doing in the world. So I just feel so strongly that that's why it's taking off like this, because the world is so in need of what doTERRA is providing. So yeah, it's just amazing to think about. So thank you so much for asking.
So Dana, if you had to draw a parallel between IIN Health Coaches and doTERRA, why do you think, when I had this like massive epiphany, everybody in my upline is a power person in doTERRA, every single person. And I think that's important on a team. And then 50% of my organization is IIN grads. And when I'm, attracting people into my doTERRA organization, customers, everybody needs the oils, let's be clear. But when I'm attracting business builders, I'm looking for people who are entrepreneurial, who are well-spoken, who like public speaking, who have a passion for natural health. So can you kind of like draw a parallel? I'm sure you've seen the same thing, observed the same thing I have. What attracts IIN Health Coaches to the oils and vice versa?
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's funny, as a former school teacher who stood up in my profession and spoke every day to 8-year-olds, for 8 hours a day, I would describe myself as a more introverted type personality. And I want to share that because I was super nervous to start doTERRA and to speak and share and teach these classes. So I want to share to other people that may be listening that might be more like me and hearing like, wow, these are all these powerhouse speakers. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this business, but I'm actually really nervous. And I remember Franny saying to me, she's like, what are you talking about? You're a teacher. Why would you be nervous? And I said, Franny, they're 8 years old. I have no problem. It was like such a big shift for me to go from that to, which had its own challenges for sure, but to growing the confidence in sharing the oils. And of course, I was already fully confident in the oils, but I had to build the confidence within myself. And so I took it upon myself. I joined Toastmasters, and I just made myself get out there and be outside of my comfort zone, because my passion for the oils and my passion for helping people was stronger than my fear. And that just kept propelling me forward. So I want every health coach to know, because we're not all like just naturally dynamic speakers. We come all different personality types, right? Every health coach shows up in their own unique way. And when you can just believe so much in a product and a company, that no matter what your personality is, and if you happen to be more introverted like I am, you can still totally do this business as long as you're willing to just grow and learn, and anybody can do it. So it was just such a passion for me that grew, and I became more and more comfortable with practice and sharing the oils.
Thank you, Dana.
Yes.
All right, next I'm going to move on to a duo. I'm going to talk to Kim and Cindy, and I'm going to speak to Cindy first, but I did ask them to be in the same room together so that you can see them together on the screen. And the reason is because Kim and Cindy are sisters, and they decided that they would be a more powerful team working together than if they each had their own independent accounts. So Cindy and I were talking about different topics, and She said, I love working with my family. Well, I won't put words in your mouth. Cindy, what do you love about being able to work with your family, and who besides Kim do you also get to work with on a daily basis?
Hi, Lisa. Thank you. And as Lisa mentioned, Kim and I are sisters, and we've been working together for just over 4 years. And also my daughter's on our team. She is 21 now, but she enrolled when she was 18, and that is the rite of passage in doTERRA. When you turn 18, you can have your own account. So she enrolled and has her own account, and she really loves the oils. She's a senior in college, and she's been using the oils. If something is going on with her, she'll call the two of us, she'll get in touch with us, and she'll figure out what oils to use. And she really loves being able to use the oil. She uses them more, really for anything that's going on emotionally or just preventative. So she's really loves the oils. And we also have 2 mother-daughters on our team, which is really great, which really kind of speaks to what Kim and I are, that we are attracting that. But if you're looking at the law of attraction, it's quite simple. It's the ability to attract into our lives whatever that we're focusing on. And life attracts like, and like migrates toward like. And this is really the life that we have chosen. And Kim and I have different strengths, and that's what is really so important. And it's really a perfect working relationship because we have different strengths. So we talk to each other literally 48/7. We are always talking to each other from the moment we get up till one of us falls asleep at night. There's always something going on. And we really know what our responsibilities are, and that's what's really important. And having a buddy in life and in work is really a huge asset. Your buddy gives us support. We really support each other, and we can bounce thoughts and ideas off each other. And really, our team's like a family. We work hard and we play hard. We have a lot of fun. We travel together. Traveling together is so much fun. We laugh and we cry together. There's a lot of tears, both joy and sadness, but we're there for each other, which is really nice. And we have a lot of friends on our team that really just started by using the oils, and they really had no desire to do anything business-wise. But they fell in love with the oils, with the products, and specifically with the company as well. And they really felt that they wanted to educate and share their experiences with their family and friends. So it's really grown like that. And really one of the most beautiful aspects of the business is that Kim and I can choose who we want to work with. In other jobs, you are given a boss, you're given coworkers that you're really stuck with and you have to work with. You don't have a choice. So now with Kim and I, we work together and we choose who we want to work with, and we love it, and we're really blessed. And I'm sure when Kim's children get 18, I'm sure they'll be right in there with an account. But, with people with younger children, don't understand as much, but when your child gets older, my daughter's graduating from college, you're looking for a bond with your child. And with my daughter and I, we have this amazing bond. She's actually going to convention this year for the first year. She's graduating college, and I'm so excited. So to have a bond with your daughter and really have her to be around it and surrounded by everybody on our team, I'm so excited. So working with your family is the absolute best. I love it, and Kim and I are so blessed.
Thank you, Cindy. Okay, so let's get to Kim. I want to ask Kim a specific question. I happen to know that Kim, I've known Kim for many years now, and she has always been clear about her why. She has to do meaningful work that she's passionate about. She wants to make an impact in a positive way in the world. So Kim, in your practice, you do work with a lot of physicians. You could have taken your IAN health coaching business a lot of different directions. A lot of us can, right? You can do health coaching one-to-one. You could do exercise. You can do vitamins. But why oils? Why were you specifically drawn to essential oils?
Okay, so I think what I'll do is kind of start with my why, and I'll get into the directly answering that question. So my background is corporate. I actually worked on Wall Street for 12 years. Which was an entirely different world. And when I was working on Wall Street, Cindy and I had a sister, Lori, who was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And she had a devastating illness for 6 years, and in 2004, she passed away. So after that happened, I actually left Wall Street, and I really had to take a look at my life, because I realized what I was doing was not my passion, and there was a lot of stress with it, and it just really wasn't my soul work at all. So I really had to take a look at that and decide what I wanted to do. And I think that when you are brought to your knees, which Cindy and I and our family was, there's just a huge shift that occurs because you want to be leading from your heart. And what I was doing was not leading from my heart. It was just a greed business. So I actually enrolled at IIN and started learning about plant wisdom. At the same time, our father was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. And my father is not a person who goes with traditional medicine, and that is the understatement of the decade, as Lisa knows, and decided to cure his cancer in an alkaline protocol. So at that point, I began researching holistic modalities, and my dad was very much into Chinese medicine and herbs, and so it was almost like I transitioned into this world organically and divinely. So I ended up going to the Raw Food Institute, and had met Lisa when she was having a conversation with people about cancer. And so I went to RFI and met Lisa, and it was really a whole new world for me of learning all of the different things that she taught there, just super powerful and really life-changing. So after that, I remember getting a call from Lisa, and Lisa's like, just come on over tonight because we're going to talk about essential oils, and Eve's going to be here. And of course, I didn't know who Eve was, and I didn't know anything about essential oils either. But if Lisa called, I was going to come because I knew it would be something good, because that's who Lisa is. She does everything to the most beautiful potential. And after I met Eve, it was, the exact same way. So we went over, and
Yeah, I think Kim called me. She's like, I'm going to come pick you up, and we're going up to Lisa Wilson's house to talk about essential oils. I'm like, who and what? I'm picking you up, get in the car. Okay, here we go. And there the two were.
So then we started using the oils, and so for me, it has just been, a transition into learning about plant wisdom. From going from traditional medicine, especially with my children, and giving them, whatever I was giving them when they were very little. Now it's really, my children, when they're not feeling good, go into the box and they either look it up on their phone or look it up in the book, and they see what oils are going to be conducive to their healing. And so they don't really even understand that other world that is available, which I'm not saying that it shouldn't be available at times, but for us, we're going to go with plant medicine first. And so it's been very powerful, and for my children to have this opportunity to learn that. Just turning. So for me, I just actually resigned, but I was on the board of directors for the Connecticut Brain Tumor Alliance. So I was coaching people who had brain cancer, which really is a huge challenge and super scary. And so I won't get into the specifics of, the cancer piece of this, but for me, using some of the oils was amazing, not only from a perspective of healing, but also from a perspective of emotional healing. Because when you're going through something so traumatic like that, pulling out lavender or serenity or being able to diffuse at night is really powerful for people, because they're really in a healing crisis. And that was so amazing that I could provide them those tools. And I often have them go on PubMed.com and research some of the different essential oils. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that we are really fortunate that we have several doctors on our team. And I've had the opportunity to teach at their offices. And so it's really a beautiful thing when you can bring in plant wisdom and teach their patients how to use oils. And so for me, that was really quite an honor. And people just walked away really having exposure to something that they wouldn't have had exposure to before. And so I'm super grateful for that. So our team's intention is to raise a vision for the essential oils, and because they're really vital to it's really vital to accomplish this on a global scale. And for Cindy and I, it really comes down to honoring our sister. So oftentimes I'll speak of our sister when I'm teaching, and because my sister doesn't get to be here in this life, I know that she's a massive angel somewhere else, but because she doesn't get to be here and we do, I feel so fortunate and gifted that that I can pass on what I've learned. And I just think that this all happened for a reason. I don't believe anything in life is a coincidence. So although that was extremely traumatic for all of us and a massive loss, we are shining a light on it, and in doing so, shining a light on her memory and really to the world. So for Cindy and I, that means everything. So thank you.
Thank you both. Aren't they so cute when they start giving each other a hard time too?
Oh, no, we're being nice to each other now. Come on.
Well, Cindy says we're perfect.
Yeah,
and
we're
we don't-
perfect.
So we're going with that.
Oh my gosh, it is way too much fun to watch you guys together. So thank you for all of that.
Very actually.
You guys are starting to get to see like this amazing group of talented women. Franny, I want to move on to you. You don't even know this, Franny, but Brianne Hovey actually did a similar type call years ago, and I happened to be on that call. And I listened to your story, and I listened to you talk about your husband, now husband, you weren't married at the time. And honestly, it was that phone call that made me pick up the phone. Eve actually invited me to the call. Call Eve and go, I need some oils. It was literally that, and so this is how this happens. We share things like this, things that shift in our life. Somebody else hears it, and then they try the oils, and they start having a massive shift. So first of all, I love you to pieces, and I just wanted to, I've never told you that. I've never told you that your story is why I picked up the phone and called Eve and bought the oils. So, and since then I've gotten to know you quite a bit. Franny, I know that Brianne and Nate actually introduced you to the essential oils while you were in IIM. So what was it about it that made you jump into the essential oils? Or I don't even know, did you jump all in first, or did you start health coaching? I'm really not even sure how that all happened.
Yeah, it's interesting that, so Dana, Tracy, and Christy all touched on things that I had a similar feeling with. So like Dana, I'm more of an introvert kind of person. And, so when I started IIM, I was working for a cable company. I was in the advertising sales department, but I was the promotions manager. So I always tell people, I am not in sales. I hate sales. It is so not me. I do the other stuff. So it was quite a journey and quite a shift for me as well. So I just wanted to say that because, I think a lot of people feel, oh, I'm not a salesperson. And trust me, if somebody sees a good movie, they're going to tell you about it. If somebody eats at a good restaurant, they're going to tell you about it. That's not sales. That's just sharing really great information with people. So I've gotten over that. It was a process, but I did get over it. So I was in the last live class with IIM, and after the first weekend, I went home and I was on my way to work, and I turned in the car to fix something on the seat, and my back just pumped. And I ended up taking a 6-month paid leave of absence from work. And I did everything I could every weekend that I had to go to New York to really nurse my back and take care of it. And I remember while I was at IIM, for all of us, it was an incredibly life-changing experience. And I remember when I learned about the circle of life that I said, there is no way I can go back to my job. There is no way. It didn't serve my body. It didn't serve me any way other than a paycheck. And let me tell you, it was a really hefty paycheck, and it was really hard to give up. And I remember saying to Robert Notter, I'm going to be a health coach. And he said to me, it's really hard work. And I said, it's okay, I got this. And, I just remembered those words. And during IIN, at the time, we all had a health coach. And I remember after all of my complaining about my physical and my emotional things that I had going on, my coach said to me, have you ever used essential oils? And I said, well, no. What do you do with them? I've never heard of them. Do you use them aromatically, topically, or internally? And she said, yep, all of that, go check it out, like a good health coach would do. Go check it out. So I remember going on the OEF, and for everybody that's been to IIN, you know what the OEF is. And I went into student-to-student marketing, and the first post that was in there, and I'd never been in there before, was from Nate Hovey. And it said, my wife is doing an essential oil webinar tomorrow night. If you're interested, click here. I later found out Brianne did the post. But, you know, I went on to the webinar the next night, and it was really astonishing for me what I did learn about the oils in that short webinar. And, you know, she said, I'm going to send some samples in with Nate. And so I didn't even know Nate. And I met him while I was there. He was texting me, told me where to meet him. And Brianne is very intuitive, for those that don't know. And she sent 3 oils that we have not talked about. One was On Guard, one was Breathe, and one was Oregano. And I said, well, what are these for? And she said, I don't know. I just thought I should send them. And I said, well, it was my boyfriend then, he's now my husband. He has this lung issue, and he was told he would be on prescription medications for the rest of his life. So I'm trying to be really compliant. And she said, well, that's why I sent them. I'm like, great, how do we use them? And so he put all 3 on the bottom of his feet every day, put the Breathe and the On Guard on his chest, and in 3 months his coughing subsided substantially, and in 6 months it was gone. And for me, that was like, wow, these oils are powerful. They are so powerful. He went to his doctor, and the doctor said, your lungs are clear. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. The oil saved his life. He's been using them for 7.5 years. He has no signs of this disease in his body at all. It's a game changer. And, you know, when I graduated from IIN, I got an incredible corporate gig where I taught the 6-month program. And they paid me a whole year, their whole year's budget, they paid me. And when I was done with it, I said, wow, these people had like amazing accomplishments. Things shifted in their lives. Things shifted in their families' life, and their families didn't even take the course with me. And after that, I said, well, I'll go get some clients. And then I realized, wow, it's really hard to get clients because people say they want to change, but do they really want to change? Do they really want to put the work in? Do they want to pay for it? And I found such a struggle with that, that I thought, wow, how in the world am I going to make this work? How am I going to make money? And how am I going to do this? Because I'm not the kind of person that, oh, and I had quit my job. So I'm not the kind of person that is dependent on somebody else. I've always been the kind of person that I'm going to do this. I can take care of this. I'm going to make money. And if I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, the money will be there. And, you know, some time went by, and I saw a friend of mine post on Facebook, and she said that she was really, really sick and not feeling well. So I picked up the phone and I called her, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? She told me. I said, I'll be right there. And mind you, she was an hour away from me. And she said, no, I have to go to work. I'm like that? And so I said, what time will you be home? She said, 7 o'clock. I said, I'll be there. And when I got there, we sat on the bed, started putting oils on her. I had the diffuser going. She started popping peppermint beadlets. All this stuff started coming out of her body. And a friend of hers called, and she said, hey, you got to come over here. This is like really cool stuff we have going on over here. And I ended up giving her an aroma touch technique treatment before I left. I left the diffuser there. I left some oils with her. And I got in the car, and Brianne is probably laughing hysterically right now. And I called Brianne and I said, I just had the most fun of my life. And she starts laughing. Now, if any of you have ever heard Brianne laugh, it's a contagious laugh. And she was laughing. I'm like, what is so funny? She said, that's all you have to do. And in that moment, I knew that I could do this as a business. It was that simple shift that I had in making a difference for someone in that moment. It was like instantaneous that all this stuff started coming out of her. You don't get that when you're health coaching. You don't get instantaneous results like that. And I just, yeah, it was just, I'm like, I've got tears in my eyes right now. It was that easy. And to see that happen and see the shift with my husband, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I don't know what he ate or what happened, but he had these horrific cramping in his stomach and his intestines where I don't know what was going on with him. And I just I pulled out 3 oils, and that's what we did. 2 on his stomach every couple of hours, a little bit of ginger in a hot cup of water, and he sipped on it. This morning, he woke up like a new man. So the oils are really profound, and they can make a difference that quickly. And that's, been my shift. And I've been doing this for 7.5 years. So it's my love, it's my passion. I have far exceeded the income that I made in my job. Far. Like beyond my wildest dreams. I had no idea the financial opportunities with this company. And it's something that it's real. It's really real. Yes, does it work? Yes, it's work. It's a lot easier than health coaching. Now, there are some really fabulous health coaches out there that have been doing this for a really long time, and they know the tricks of the trade, and they know what to do, and they're highly successful. For me, that was a challenge. And I know that there's a lot of health coaches out there that are feeling that challenge. They have the passion, they have the love, they want to do it, but they're feeling a little bit stuck. And like Christy talked about, she said she found out that all these health coaches had network marketing businesses on the side. The two go together and they marry each other really well. The health coaching leads to the oil conversation. The oils lead to the health coaching conversation. So it's a beautiful marriage.
And I want to touch on 2 things. We're going to my question, and I actually asked a couple people in my life to write the questions. So the first thing I want to talk about is health coaching. And even when we were at National Integrative Health Associates, we charge $200 an hour for health coaching. We're probably one of the top, in the top pay scale as far as health coaching. Then I started doing business coaching, and I had a business coach who I would pay several $1,000s per month. And he used to say to me, Lisa, you need to do business coaching. You need to be charging at least $1,000 an hour for business coaching. And I made a choice in that moment. I made a choice to coach my my doTERRA team instead of offering women in the world, health business coaching for $1,000 an hour. Because even if I was being paid $1,000 an hour, no matter what would happen, I was still trading dollars for hours. I was still sitting across from the table, and if I didn't show up, I didn't get paid. Okay, so let's talk about how we can shift people really fast. So if I have people in my living room and I'm teaching an essential oil class, there are about 4 things. When I do a wellness consult with someone, which is very much like health coaching, after they get their oils, we're going to crack them open. We're going to show them how to change their orders in their back office. We're going to put the oils on them, because oils can be new and kind of scary if you've never used them. So we want to keep people at ease. You really can't screw this up. It's very easy. And we want to make sure that we're doing those wellness consults. So I always start with this. There are 4 things that we can shift pretty easily that most people have. Challenges with sleep, either falling asleep or staying asleep. Challenges with head tension. Challenges with pain. Some people, have some muscle tension, some joint pain. Maybe they exercise too hard in fitness class. And digestive issues. And usually they have at least one of those. Sometimes if they show up and they've got, they've done something to their elbow or knee, we can literally put Deep Blue rub on and shift them in the moment. And I always say, what is the pain on a scale of 1 to 10? And they might say 8. I'm going to check in with you in 5 minutes. Sometimes they'll say it's gone, completely gone.
it's just gone. Sometimes it's a 4, but I always like to give it a number so that they have a way to measure that. And sometimes people say, well, I have a difficult time falling asleep. Serenity. There's Serenity oils and Serenity gel caps, and it's herbs plus lavender oil. Take 2 of those before bed. And I've noticed a much deeper sleep. I just don't get up and go to the bathroom. I thought that was normal my whole life. Decades of getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Now I take my Serenity gel caps and I never have to go to the bathroom. A little bit of Serenity on the bottom of the feet can put you into a really restful sleep. So it's some of our top sleep oils, like lavender. It's got some vanilla tones in it. It's got vetiver. It's got, help me guys, I'm blanking. Vetiver, what's the one I'm looking for? Cedarwood. So it's got some of our top sleep oils. So it's really profound. When you sleep better, what's your day like? Your day is a lot better. You have more energy. So those are some of the top things that we can shift really, really fast. When you're health coaching and you shift somebody really, really fast, do you have their attention? So maybe you need to get them to eat better. You need to help them heal their gut. You have a lot of issues. You have leaky gut. You have a lot of issues that you're working on in the gut. But if you can get them to feel better right away by putting some Digestin all over their belly and drinking a little drop in a cup of water, and suddenly they think that you're amazing, are they going to start making those changes? Are they going to start taking their probiotics? Are they going to start taking probiotic-rich food? They're going to be more open to making those changes when they can get a shift right away. And that's what I love about the oils. I can literally shift people in my living room when I'm teaching a class. So I wanted to talk about that. I do want to kind of make a shift because we've sort of mentioned the financial piece. And I want to talk about that. So one of the questions that somebody asked me was, all right, Lisa, you've done the Raw Food Institute, you've done health coaching, you're a contributing author, you spoke on some of the top stages in the nation. Why did you make the shift to essential oils? And I always joke that, the Raw Food Institute, there's so much overhead. It is brick and mortar. I have to pay chefs. I was paying, when I was running 4 retreats per year, I was writing a check to the Simsbury Inn for almost $100,000 per year for 4 weeks out of the year. That's without chefs. That's before I pay the food. Marketing goes on all year long. There's not just 4 weeks of marketing. It happens all year long. The bills were incredible. It was very difficult to make money. It was a labor of love. And on the outsides, I looked successful. But I always say at the end of the day, if there was $94.37 left in the bank account, I got all of it. And at one point, you guys are jealous, I know. Then I'm going to expand to the West Coast. I'm going to double that income, right? So now we're up to about $180 a year. So I took my kids' college shopping. Have you guys ever been? Everybody's got their why. And my why has shifted a million times, but that was my first aha. If you've taken your kids shopping for colleges, have you seen the sticker price of colleges? They've gone up a lot since I was in college. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't continue to work for $94 per year. I need to make an income and I need to make it quick. So I looked at doTERRA, quite frankly. I looked at Franny, she was already a diamond. I looked at Eve, she was already a diamond. I looked at Brianne Hubby, and I said, what do they have that I don't? And the answer was that, nothing. Like we all went to IIN, we all had the same skill set. And I looked at these people and said, if they can do it, I can do it. But I was sort of like Franny, I think it was like, is that true? There's only one way to find out. You go become a diamond yourself. So I decided to switch from green juice therapy, teaching that all around the country, to teaching essential oils. And my heart was fine with it. It was actually a great switch. It felt good. I loved teaching about the essential oils. I love teaching about the essential oils. And so that was a really, really great, it was a great thing for me to do. I found it like so profound that it became, and we've said this before in tonight's talk, it became a moral obligation to share. So I do want to switch and talk a little bit here about finances. Because here's where I'm at in my business. I do really well with essential oils, and it's not enough. It's not enough for me to do really well. Here's what I know for sure is that complaining on social media doesn't work. But what does work is getting the money in the hands of heart-based entrepreneurs. When we get money in the hands of heart-based entrepreneurs, we are the people that start things like the Raw Food Institute. I can now confidently go out and maintain and continue to grow the Raw Food Institute. We are the people that start juice bars. We are the people that start yoga centers. We are the people that want health wellness centers. We are the people that are going to change the world. So when I get to help all these people in my doTERRA organization, it is that is the massive shift. That is, when you can get a 1% shift, we are going to change the world. So if you're frustrated with the way things are going in the world today, again, I am in this place where I want to get money in the hands of heart-based entrepreneurs. So, and I had to overcome a lot of money issues, my own junk. You know, I had to let go of all that stuff and know that it's okay to make money. It's okay to make a significant amount of money, because when you put money in the hands of good people will change the world. So that's where I'm at. I talk a lot about, you know, getting money in the hands of heart-based entrepreneurs. A lot of people on this phone call are, you know, like I said, there's gold. A lot of them are diamonds. I'm a blue diamond. Brianne Hovey is a presidential diamond. Before Brianne comes on, I am going to share this with you real quickly, because again, those titles don't mean anything, and I get that. Oop. So I just want to put this up so that when we're talking about these things, you have a little bit of an understanding. And you don't just, when you hit that rank, you don't just start making that as an income. It takes a little bit of time. So this sheet that I'm going to share, tell me if you guys can you see my screen? Yep. You're looking at all my questions too. Okay. So this is the average incomes that people make in doTERRA. And what you're looking at is the hours spent per week, the time it takes to reach each rank, the average monthly income, and then on the far right is when you first hit that rank, what you first start making in the beginning, because people will see averages and they kind of expect averages when they first hit it. But it takes, you know, this is a business. It does take time. It takes time to grow a business, and that's what entrepreneurs know and understand. An entrepreneur understands that you're not looking for a 9-to-5 paycheck. You're not. You're growing something much, much bigger than you. And, you know, I always say this is not easy. It doesn't grow itself. There's a lot to learn about the business and the oils. Having said all that, if you are open to learning, you have the ability to do in 3 to 5 years what takes other people 30 to 50 years in their career to do. And I think sometimes you hear, well, that happens to just a few. I'm going to stop the screen share. I think you guys can see this. Stop the share. I think people think, well, you know, that's nice, and that happens for a few people. But the truth is that hardly anybody makes that kind of money. And the truth is that, you know, what would shift your life? I'm going to ask you that. Would an extra $500 a month shift your life? Would an extra $1,000 a month shift your life? 2,000, you know, we can go up from here. I've been doing this 3 years, and my income, you know, you just saw, an average Blue Diamond income. I am newer at Blue Diamond, so I make between $25,000 and $30,000 per month. That's about what I was making in a year at health coaching. So what are you willing to give up? You know, you're going to have to invest, you know, time into learning this as a business. And I always say, what are you willing to give up in order to make your dreams come true? And that's why I brought all these people on a call, because all of these people, not some of us, not one of us, all of these people on this call are successful at doTERRA. And a couple people, you know, like Christy Flynn, you moved last year. Did you get paid while you moved? Did a check continue to come in?
Yeah, and that's really something that hooked me into this in the beginning, was because when I was health coaching and making money, and then I have a baby and need to take time off, the coaching checks stopped. I referred out all my business, but my doTERRA checks continued to come in because all the love I poured into people and taught them and educated them on how to use their oils, they kept using their oils as their, you know, home system to support their families. So absolutely, yes.
Same is true of you. Last year, Eve, you had to have a surgery. You had to be out for a while. Did your doTERRA checks continue to come in?
Yeah, like when you almost inadvertently die and you're like in the hospital and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm a single mom," and like, wow, it's amazing to know, number one, that you can take time to heal and to be in the hospital and all that. It was emergency surgery. It wasn't anything like something crazy. Um, in any regard, yeah. I mean, the other fact of knowing I've built a residual income business that I can will to my child. I'm a single mother. What happens to me if what happens to my daughter if something happens to me? So yeah, there was suddenly this major security in knowing that, wow, she'll be taken care of even if something happens to me. So, and yeah, it's crazy. Like when you suddenly have hospital bills that are coming in that insurance doesn't cover, and you're like, oh my God, this is insane. I've never batted an eye. I've never even had to like worry for a moment, like, oh my God. And it's the type of bills that would literally bankrupt, somebody else. So I can't thank doTERRA enough for, again, providing for me in such an unbelievable manner. So very cool stuff, right?
And not to mention that a lot of us have been on super cool trips around the world. Franny, what were you going to say about that?
Yeah, it's interesting that you just said this right now, because you mentioned that Christy was moving and the business kept going. Eve was, had an issue and the business kept going. It's about a year ago today that I got the phone call that my mother had a heart attack. I dropped everything I was doing, flew up to New York. She had triple bypass. My brother and I were going to do shifts until I realized that my brother can't bathe my mother. And I ended up staying in New York for 7 to 8 weeks taking care of my mother. I never could have done that without doTERRA. Never. If I had been in a job, never would have happened. And my business kept growing. So it's what we're creating is really residual income that has a life of its own.
Thank you. Brianne, would you like to turn your camera back on? Are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm here.
So Brianne, you've been listening. Brianne is on top of this organization, I guess you would say. She's upline to all of us. And you've been sitting here listening to all these stories, and some of us you know better than others, and I'm enrolled in one of your mastermind programs right now. And what's it like for you to have created this a long time ago, and you're just watching this kind of happen, and continue to happen?
It absolutely never gets old. I laughed out loud multiple times on this call, and I also cried a bit. It's, when you reach dreams, it never fails to kind of take your breath away. And then you start to reach dreams you didn't know you had. And when I got started, I grew up very much like the sisters. I have a sister who I do doTERRA with as well, but we grew up in a really holistic family as well. I grew up with herbs for breakfast and, making green drinks for my friends in high school and teaching them how to plug their nose and down it. I grew up in a really holistic family. And so I always had this like need to help people. And that was emphasized when my mom passed away when I was 14 of cancer. And then my dad passed away 3 years ago from cancer as well. So I've had this big mission in life to not just take care of myself, my family, but also I always wanted to help people. And I got into massage therapy originally. And then I know you probably have another question, Lise, but I'll just quickly say this. I got into massage therapy, then got into aesthetics, and I loved working on people. I loved that one-on-one time and that transformation that happened. I'm different than everybody on this panel. I went to health coaching school after I started network marketing. I had that same desire of wanting to help people wake up with their health and take health into their own hands. And when I got into oils, I was much like Lisa. I thought that they were, I'd been in the spa industry for so long. I thought oils were solely to, the aromatherapy, it smelled good and could maybe relax you. But I had no idea the true potential. And I remember started using them in my practice, and it was like my hands went so far and the oils just went deeper, both with the skin and the body. And then, as Lisa mentioned at the beginning of the call, I had a profound life-changing moment with the oils with our son who had a respiratory condition. They gave us back, really they empowered us in such a way that we finally trusted ourselves as parents again. Because when you're in a cycle with your child that is in and out of the hospital, you really start to lose trust in yourself. And for us, it gave us this way like, oh my gosh, because we had used everything you guys can think of. I grew up in such a holistic family, from herbs to homeopathics, and went to every person you can think of to help our son. And it was the oils that made the biggest impact. So for me, it became very clear, okay, they're not just smell good, feel good type supplements or support to the body. There's so much deeper meaning to what we have in our hands. So that's kind of how I got involved with doTERRA, specifically just wanting to use them in the home. So originally I was just going to start the business. Start using doTERRA because I wanted to use them in my home, and I wanted to use them on my clients. I had no desire to do network marketing. Like, I actually was against it. And so that was kind of the beginning start for me. But yes, doesn't get old, Lisa.
So, Brianne, I think, you're a Presidential Diamond, which is, top rank in the company. When people look at people like you and they haven't witnessed your journey, they might look at you and think, oh, my daughter. They might look at you and think, oh, it's easy for you, right? It happens naturally for you. Your whole career, it looks like it was very easy for you. And when people, well, let me just ask you that. Has it all been easy for you? Has everything just come naturally and organically and easily for you? Or has it also kind of been this journey that continues to unfold for you?
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't easy, but it was absolutely worth it. And still today, we have a team in 50 different countries. Our team is almost 300,000, both people using the oils and sharing and building a business with us. And we started with one. We started with no network marketing background. We started with the fear of network marketing, that we were going to lose friends. We started with the fear of asking people to help. Gosh, can you think of that fear? Like, if you are going to team up with people and you're going to delegate out and you're going to work together. I had never worked with other individuals. I was always like a loner, meaning I never managed anyone. I was a sales rep and kind of had my own little gig going on the side in the spa industry. So I didn't know how to team up and work with other individuals. There was so much fear. And still to this day, I still have experiences because I'm not stopping. The mission is so big and my heart is so in it. It's not about the money to me. It's about every single life that is changed by handing them this file and them opening it up. And so for me, one of the biggest changes for me, Lisa, was I loved the one-on-one transformation. So like I said, my husband and I both went to IIN after starting doTERRA. We did it because we saw the value of learning more for ourselves, our family, and then Nate wanted to start his own practice as well. And so that kind of journey catapulted us even more into what's possible for each and every one of us with our health. But when I got started, I didn't have any tools in business tools whatsoever. So I had to learn along the way. I made a crap ton of mistakes. I still do. But I'm also not afraid to share them because I'm also not afraid of mistakes at all. I learn from them every single time. I get back up and I keep growing. And to me, it's about the people's lives that are changed. And so instead of working one-on-one with people, I can work one-on-one with a person that then turns around and helps her family or helps her neighbor or helps her sister. I can work with a group of 5 people in a classroom that turn around and help their neighborhoods, their tribe. And so it's this ripple effect that happens, that my mission of waking people up and showing them that we can ask more out of our bodies, out of our health, out of our life, and really have a better quality of life. But I don't have to do it just one person at a time. With this model, it's like it just spreads and the change happens. It's like a revolution. And so to me, it's something that I won't ever be able to show enough gratitude that the universe just plopped it in my lap when I wasn't ready. But I'm glad I said yes.
And last question for you, Brianne. A lot of people watching this obviously are health coaches, and they're thinking, well, every health coach knows about essential oils. The market is saturated. What is your answer to that?
The market is saturated if you believe it's saturated. Kind of like Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's all a mindset. I've been with doTERRA. They were 1.5 years old when I got involved. So I've seen a lot of change, a lot of growth. And I've seen people who, choose to get on board. And I work with a lot of health coaches at this point, and everybody does it in a different model. I really highly recommend that you find what works for you. Maybe it's just specifically focusing on the gut with essential oils, and that's your jam. That's what you want to focus on. And you just start using them in your practice. Or right away, you want to get going in the business. It's all up to you. You get to choose how many hours you focus on it. You get to choose how fast you do it. It's where, just follow your passion. But also don't be afraid to open up to what else is possible and be uncomfortable and go towards your fears. And with that said, when I get people started, when I launch new people today, it is 10 times easier to get someone started today than it was 8 years ago. It's absolutely not saturated. There are so many people that need what we have, and not only need it, they're down on their knees and they're starving for this solution. And we're not a product line that, only is for a specific target market. Our target market is everyone. Babies need these oils. Elderly needs these oils. The athletes need these oils, everyone. And so it really is a perfect opportunity to get started today. If you're in the US or anywhere around the world, the company structure is there. It's solid. The marketing's there, the brand recognition, all the leadership and trainings and everything is waiting for you to say yes. But absolutely, I have people growing way faster than they did 5 years ago because everything's set up for success.
And I agree with that. And I think if when I ask people, think about how many people in your life are regularly purchasing or ordering doTERRA on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Think about your massage therapist. Think about the lady that delivers your mail. Think about, the soccer moms on the sidelines. Think about the hockey moms. Almost nobody, seriously, and those are people in my life, and almost nobody is on the loyalty reward program, nor have they even tried essential oils.
Right.
So, I think we can think that it's saturated, but they actually did some market statistics recently, and even the most saturated state, which is Utah, it was 5%. It was 5% of homes are receiving essential oils. I think that was accurate. And California was 1.5. They didn't even look at the East Coast because we're not even on the map. Like we're insignificant as far as the number of homes actually purchasing essential oils. So in my opinion, it is wide open, and I couldn't agree more. Everybody needs these oils. Okay, so we're going to bring this to a close. I want to thank every single one of these wellness advocates and health coaches for being on this call. I think it was an incredibly motivational call, inspirational. I think people learned a lot and got to see not only how you do this in your business, but got to see your heart too. I think that was what kept coming through for me, as we were just sharing our hearts, and that's who we are, and that's what we do. So if you are a health coach, if you're watching this and you want to get started, the first thing that you're going to do is contact the person that invited you. And whoever did invite you, they will be following up with an email. They will be offering you an opportunity to talk to them, or I'm going to send out one of my classes, so you can actually watch an online essential oil class, and you can order. They'll probably send you out a link to purchase. So you'll have a couple options here. People come into doTERRA one of three ways: a customer, a sharer, a builder. All fantastic. Customers, if you want to, these people, whoever again invited you, will share a link and you can go ahead and purchase. If you think that you might want to have a conversation about building, again, go back to the person that invited you. I like my customers to at least be on a customer for 90 days, get to know the oils, really start to connect with the oils, start your own love affair, have your own experiences with essential oils, and then make that decision to go ahead and become a doTERRA wellness advocate. Maybe some of you watching this have already experienced oils. Maybe you got them through a friend, or you got them a long time ago. and you're ready to make that shift. So again, whoever contacted you, go ahead and contact them. Everybody watching will get a free copy of Health Coach's Guide to Essential Oils. It's my new ebook. So you will get a free copy of that just for joining this. And starting May 1st, I'm actually going to be launching an internship. So I think one of the things out there, a challenge of this is that there's a lack of education on how you actually use these essential oils. So I'm going to launch a 30-day internship where we'll go through basics, a 60-day where we're going in more into advanced techniques. All of the people on this call, we use oils in all kinds of ways. And, ways that you can't even have imagined, for shiny hair. And I'm using them for my gum health, and so many ways to use these essential oils. So if you're curious, so you might start with sleep or digestion, but then you want to take it to another level, and you would have, sometimes you're like, who would have known that juniper berry was good for the kidneys? All these little things that you can learn when it comes to essential oils. So if you're interested in that internship, you'll be able to have an opportunity to enroll in that free internship if you want to become educated on essential oils. So thank you. Any last comments from anybody?
Just thank you. Love you all.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, Lisa. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Hi there. I hope that you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed bringing that to you. I had so much fun spending time with my friends and my colleagues and being able to chat about what first inspired us to get into essential oils and why we're loving it now. So if you're watching that video and you're thinking, I'm ready to become a wholesale customer, what I want you to do is get in touch with the person that sent you to this video. So if it was me, I'm actually going to be sending you an email. You will get a couple things in that email. You will get a link to watch my Essential Oils 101 class online. You'll also get a link to register or purchase your kit and get a wholesale account. That will be step number 2. Okay, after you do that, then you will be receiving a free copy of my new book. And the book is called The Health Coach's Guide to Essential Oils. I want you to know how to use these in your practices. Practical stuff that you can start doing right away. And if I had somebody in my office, I would send them home with samples. Tell them I'm going to follow up the next day and really take care of them. How did you sleep? How do you feel? And so I'll be giving you, again, ways that you can start rolling this into your coaching practice right now. The next thing that you can do is you can actually sign up for my free 90-day internship. I think when you start using essential oils, it can be a little overwhelming. So I'll go through the basic oils, the oils that people experience some really big shifts with, like Breathe or DigestZen, real early on, how you can use them, how you can use the oils aromatically, topically, and internally. So that will be the first 30 days. The second 30 days, we're going to start stepping into some advanced techniques. So this is where I'm going to get on the phone with some of my doctor friends, some of my nurse friends, and we're going to be offering protocols. We are going to be offering recipes and blends. And so again, this is going to be for kind of DIY, more advanced ways that you can start to use your essential oils in your home. The third and the final month of that 90-day internship is completely optional. If you are sitting there thinking, I would like to do this as a business, then we will move into how you can get paid for either sharing essential oils or how you can use this as a business. Now, if you already know that and you think, I want to do this as a business right away, fine. Again, contact the person that invited you. If it's me, send me an email, lisa@therawfoodinstitute.com, and be in touch with either me or the person that invited you to this. Okay. I am so excited that you've started this wellness journey, venturing into essential oils. I am at this point in my life where I can't even imagine life without essential oils. They go with me on my keychain, they go with me to the gym, they go with me pretty much everywhere I go. My son will be going off to college and he will definitely be bringing his essential oils. He's already talked about that, having his diffuser in his room. My children were raised on essential oils, basically. They're kind of essential oil babies. They know what to do when something comes up. And as a mom, that is completely empowering. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you in the future in person, and I will see you on the calls. Thanks so much.